I mean, for someone who hasn't been earning anything for the past 6 months, was this individual prepared to not earn anything for 6 months? So it does require a lot of, I think, planning, and also a form of cash management, because creatives can get one big gig once a year, and that amount of money or revenue that they generated there should then be able to last them up until their next big gig. And that does require some form of planning, especially when it comes to expenses, because we all do have living expenses. And what I also notice is that when you are a freelancer or an entrepreneur, maybe without a formal structure, maybe you're operating as a sole proprietor, or meaning that you don't have a PTY Ltd, or you're not in a registered structure, but you're just operating in your own name, in your own capacity. I find that a lot of people forget that they are operating as a business, and they tend to just basically live from one gig to the next. And if there's no gig, like we had now during the COVID time, it then means you suffer personally, and also your business suffers, because maybe you're unable to meet a client's demands coming out of lockdown, you're low on resources, etc., etc.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Nodaka. Could you please elaborate on these kind of like financial literacy things that we need to familiarize ourselves with as creatives? Yes.
Okay, I think one of them I mentioned now was the importance of budgeting, or the importance of having a plan. We all know roundabout how much money we need per month to sustain ourselves physically and our families or dependents, right? So if you see yourself as operating as a business, you are you are for profit. You want to make a profit at the end of the day. So meaning that your starting point should be where you incorporate your own personal living expenses. You also think about your business expenses before you can even target what type of revenues or money coming in that you want to include in this budget. And sometimes I find that individuals or businesses or entrepreneurs tend to not want to think about this. They tend to want to chase the sale, or chase the business, or chase the next invoice, and not think about even things when it comes to filing of your expenses or your supporting documents. How often have we seen major creatives or artists being chased by the taxman? I think there was a time where Monang was also in the news, briefly, even during COVID times. AKA said on Twitter that he's suffering. He doesn't have enough financial resources, etc., and he doesn't feel like the government is taking care of their needs. So that, for me, was an indicator that your financial lifestyle was not sustainable. Because you must remember, there was something that Alicia also mentioned when she first started, in the sense that she's very passionate about Black business, very passionate about businesses being sustainable and operating for future generations, you understand? So that is something that one needs to have at the back of their mind. And unfortunately, I don't think today we're going to be able to go through in depth everything that one can do, but one needs to, important again, educate yourself. I'm not saying become an accountant or become a tax expert. There are people like myself and Alicia out there who can advise you on these matters. We don't all need to be experts on everything, because I myself am not an expert in everything. I then go look for an expert in their particular field, and I go consult with them if I want to know additional information, information that could also help me as an individual, because you find that many entrepreneurs find themselves in a very difficult position because they would only seek my assistance once they are being chased by SARS or the taxman. And where eventually when you do meet with them, you find they've got no form of supporting documents. They've got no form of financial records or slips or anything that they've kept, because they don't actually take the time to actually go from month to month and see, this month, how did we do? Money coming in, money going out. Where are we?
Yes. So what I've received is that keeping a track record of, let's say, spending, or a track record of like your documents with financially is very important. And how do we drum it out of creatives, this idea that keeping track of your finances or dealing with the numbers may take away, let's say, from your creativity? How do we drum that out of artists? And yeah, how do we work around that? Should artists be relying on, let's say, accountants, or procuring someone to sort of like do their books quickly, just to make sure they have their books in order, or at least have the documentation so that they can work while they do that? Or is there a way of getting around that?
Certainly, there are ways of getting around that. We're living in the times of the fourth industrial revolutioners. So we have accounting software that you can link to your business bank account, and that will then keep track of all your spending. And once it's, and this is accounting software that is cloud, it's remotely accessed. It can be on your laptop, it can be on your phone, as and when you are spending, swiping via card or performing an EFT, it keeps track automatically for you. I think one thing that you can take away is, I don't think you need to have like a full-time accountant or bookkeeper within your business space or creative space, but it's important to have those talks every now and then, just to ensure, am I on the right track? Listen, I'd like to do A, B, and C. What would your advice be? Because remember, not only does it have a financial implication, some businesses or business decisions also have a tax implication. And as a freelancer, you are a provisional taxpayer. So you're not like your typical salaried employee that pay as you earn withheld from them and paid by their employer over to SARS. You don't have that. You kind of now, that is now on your shoulders to ensure that whatever earnings that you make as an individual, that you are declaring that amount to SARS and ensuring that you are paying the appropriate amounts for your personal income tax, so that you don't find yourself 5 to 10 years when SARS actually now wants all their money and it's a lump sum and you cannot afford. And I see there's a question, what's the name of the accounting software? There's a number of accounting softwares. There's Wave apps. What I'll do is, when I'm done, in our chat session, I will then list all the different accounting softwares that are cloud-based, that can also link to your business banking profile. And that is where you can even raise quotations, raise invoices. You can do, it's user-friendly. I don't think you need to have some form of accounting or finance qualification for you to operate the system. It was designed with the idea of giving control and ownership back to the business owner or the entrepreneur. Wave apps is totally free. You don't pay a monthly subscription for it. Some Sage One Accounting, QuickBooks, Zero, those ones, there is a monthly fee applicable. I think it's not more than 300 Rand per month. And if you do buy the annual package, I think you get a 10% discount, but you will then decide which one works better. They all prepare the same reports. It might look a bit differently, but they all speak the same language.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Ncumisa. Well, I think what we'll do is that we'll post the apps, the different apps that you've given us on our Facebook as well, so that people can get a hold of them very easily, and you can also put them in our chat, so that everybody can get a hold of them. Thank you very much. I think we can move on to Mr. Tumelo Tladi now. Is that fine? Okay, great. I'll just mute my mic, and then Mr. Tladi can say his piece.
Hey, morning. Can I still say good morning? It's afternoon now. Wow. I just love the ladies, how they have really harnessed what we were talking about. And I know a lot of people ask themselves, what is this all about? And for me, the key word is, and Alicia has taken it nicely and passed it on to Ncumisa very well. They talk about two things, which I want to talk about, is the brand itself. You know, when you're an artist, you're a brand. That's what people, artists think that, no, I'm just an artist, but you're a brand. And Alicia touched on it, and she said it very nicely, is that, what are you offering out there? What are you giving the people? So I prepared a small slide. I don't know if my moderator could be able to share that slide with everybody, but it will be posted later. And, you know, I want to talk to this lady because these two ladies, this powerful leadership woman around me, because I'm the only boy here today. So definitely, I really appreciate this so much. So what you would see is that you're an artist, but Ncumisa said it again and said, you need to remember, you might be a freelance. You might be looking that you have one gig and you get all this money, and it's only once. So for me, as an entrepreneur, I want to talk to you about, there is one thing that is on top, which you are an artist. And underneath, there's a system. And this system is called the economy. How you as a brand or an artist to get into that economy so that you can sustain your life. The second part of it is that you're a brand. And when you're a brand, it means that you got to be able to understand. And Alicia harnessed it again and said, listen, look, if I'm a person who likes kids and you want to get into what I do, it's important that you understand exactly what needs to happen about me. I like kids, so you need to know your market. Who are you selling to? What value are you going to be adding as an artist? Well, I don't have money, I don't have this. So there's other things. There's the business side of it, being an artist, which Ncumisa touched on, which is the finances. Before anything can happen, you need to have the finances. The finances and service. Now I want to tell you a short story that I've experienced with an artist. And in this story is that an artist had an opportunity to have an event at their gallery. And at this gallery was perfect. Had the artwork was top of class, but the service was not there. So the people arrived, they had their event happening and they saw beautiful artwork, but there was no one to tell them the story behind their artwork. And there were about 15 ladies. 5 ladies were interested in finding out, but there was no one to take the information. There was no one to tell them the story about this art, but they just browsed. But these ladies wanted to buy this art, you know? And out of sudden, the sale was lost. Guess what? This was in 2019. By December, they closed down because they didn't have the business side that Ncumisa talked about. That needs to happen. So you can imagine that you being an artist, being as creative as you are, if you don't know how much you are worth in your business, just forget, because you'll always struggle. So what do I mean by this? How much is my worth as an artist? So me as an entrepreneur, thanks to Ncumisa, she has helped me a lot. And I'm one of those. She told me that wave program. Really, I took it to a task and I tested and see how it works. So for example, you need to calculate how much you need per month to survive. So you say, I need to pay rent, I need to have my art gallery, I have to have the equipment, put that number together and say, this is what I need to make. Let's say you round up that I need 10,000 Rand to be able to be comfortable, right? Then they divide that amount by 24 days. Okay, that will tell you exactly how much it costs you a day. Then you must say every morning, whatever art piece I need to sell, if I've got 10 art pieces, they must bring me that amount. If I want to make an extra 5,000 profit, then I'd have to bring in 15,000. That's how I'm gonna calculate my pieces. And remember, you're an artist, you mustn't be scared to ask the right price. What is the right price? You need to know your market. I mentioned it, that you need to know your market. You can't sell an art to someone who's not worrying about food, but you need to sell to someone you know that, you know what, they've got the money. They are interested in this. And sometimes you have to teach the brand. You have to teach people about your art and continue. You need to start from zero, but make money. Look, if you're an artist and you're brilliant and your bank account is not reflecting that, you need to change the method. Get hold of Ncumisa, get hold of Alicia. They'll definitely give you some tips. And that's why ArtEC is here to say, listen, we know your struggle. Ncumisa said that most of the artists are not making it. And I know that things happen, but you need to seek out. I mean, today there's TED Talks, there's websites out there, there's so much information out there. If you don't know anything, you can ask Uncle Google. Malume Google will give you the information. Then you can harness yourself so you can ask the details. Now, the topic is about from a creative artist to becoming a business person, business brand. You got to understand, look, Alicia said it, Ncumisa said it, that look, you need to match them to make them work together. Your service and your finances and your brand, they need to come together. Once they are together, they will deliver value for you as an artist. And this implies to the same thing that we talked about before, that Alicia mentioned. You got to be out there and giving people value for money. But you won't be able to give value for money if you haven't got your finance in order. And you need to know how to manage your finances. You don't need to be an expert in it, but you need to get help and get to people like Ncumisa and Alicia who've got that background. They will share with you this information. And this is for you as an artist. Look, there's something that I stole on someone's thing, and it's very nice. It reads something like this, that, you know, give generational wealth is not about the money you leave behind, the assets of your children, all right? And I quoted from Alicia's message on the WhatsApp. He said, you know, generational wealth is about telling the kids how you made it to become the best artist. Give them the energy and time to think. So if you're an artist, you haven't thought about, besides the art, what's gonna happen? Critically, embodying that to your children and sitting down with your children, telling them that I'm an artist. And Ncumisa mentioned that you might get 1 gig a month. You might sell 1 piece a month. The children need to understand that what does that mean if you don't sell the piece? And that is done when you're having family time and talking to the children about it. Do not say it's Papa is working now. You know, like I always say to my children, when I have my webinars, I always say to them, I'm working, but I explain to them in the morning that you don't come in my room. But my daughter is 8 years old. She just comes in and says, I just want to say hello to everybody. So today I decided that I'm going to come to the ArtEC tour forum here so that there's no disturbance, because I know sometimes they can disturb, but they know that I'm working. So what I said is, be as good as you put the paintings together, your work together, but manage 2 things. Service and the finances and your brand. Those 3 things are your pillars. And Ncumisa would have never said it much better when she said, look, you need to prepare for the rain day. How do you do it? I have money, I don't have this. Yes, money is the problem, but you need to know your worth first. And you need to do things differently. So, and Alicia said it, go look for your clients. They are there. How do you look for the clients? How do I do it? When I put this webinar down, what do I do? First thing, write down the people that you think can afford what you do. That's the first step. And after you've done that, You say, okay, how much will it cost me just to sell 4 of things that I need to do? You know what? I'm gonna talk to the ArtEC gallery. Say, guys, I wanna do this event here. I need you to support me. Then you start inviting your friends and you invite other artists to come and tell about their stories of art. And guys, if I wanna tell you the power of art, I mean, someone drew the art of Hector Peterson. And when I saw that picture when I was overseas, imagine you passing through New York, you see a red paint picture of Hector Peterson, and you know the story. And I was shocked. It's an artist from South Africa. Someone took the picture, the artist drew it. So to get it there, that person might have made an impression in the art. So you must become a brand, and a strong brand. Look, there's Apple, there's Samsung. People knows why. And I want to use the guy you know. You know, Word himself, he's an artist. He used a Apple, you know, and we were talking about this Apple thing. And I was saying to him, look, Apple is very costly for me. But he says, but you know, when you Apple, you do a lot of things at the same time, everything works better and the quality of the work. And Apple never went to his house to market, but he just knows about it, how it works. So if you're an artist and you really want to sustain yourself, think differently. As much as you produce quality work, service, finances, I promise you, then you got the system going. Any questions? Thank you very much. And that's what I want you to think about, your brand. If you build those 3 things on your brand, it's gonna work. So you need to do things differently. Thank you very much. That's my piece.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tladi. That was very enlightening. I think what we received from what you said is you drummed in the importance of service. We understand that we need to create a brand that stands out and a marketable brand. From Miss Alicia, I think what I understood most is understanding your market. And from Miss Ncumisa, I think what I received most was understanding that you need to have your books in order and your documentation as an artist and financial literacy, basically. Do the panelists have any other final remarks, perhaps? Any other closing remarks? The floor is open to anybody who'd like to speak. And any questions from the audience? Yes, those are very much welcome now. Any questions? Okay, okay, Mr. Tladi has a question. Yes, I'll just mute my mic.
It's not a question, it's just a statement. Whatever, after this webinar, whatever an artist decides to do, will only find out the impact it has after 6 months. So this webinar is for you to know how much you're worth, what tools you need. So what I want to challenge the artist is, as passionate as you are good with your artwork, avail yourself. Get to us, ask Ncumisa, Alicia, talk to us, come to the ArtEC. Because if you're gonna want us to get the art industry to be like an American art industry, it's up there. You guys need to come and challenge yourselves. You cannot do what our forefathers did. And Alicia said it, is that Black people, we cannot always be about, it's only us, we are Black. No, we passed that stage. I think that the opportunity now is, what value do you bring? And I want to see the value, definitely. That's what I want to say.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tladi. Any more questions, any remarks from you, Miss Alicia, or Sis Ncumisa? Are there any? Okay, Sis Alicia.
Hi, it's me again. I think I wanted to echo the sentiments of my colleague Ncumisa to say accountants and auditors are not monsters. Artists, please. Don't come to us when SARS is rushing you and you don't know where to start. get to the habit of checking your financial health. You can't come to me when everything is down on the floor. There's nothing that I can help you with. You're going to lose everything. Accountants are people, and we are there to serve you and to service you. If you do not make use of us when it's still nice, when that first check of R1 million comes in December, don't come crying to me and be negotiating with me saying that, hey, sister, Anama, you know, I have not been paid since December. I'm not interested. I am not going to help you. When you are getting your R1 million check, come, let's do planning together. Let me, before you go and get that Beamer or that Range Rover, let's have a chat and look at the tax implications of that. Let's have a chat. And I said, help you set up the structures for your business because it's your business. I mean, I always like listening to Uzonke. If I listen to her story, the father was an artist. So they learned the art at home. She's a successful artist because those traits were shared with her from home. There's nothing as nice as learning when there's no pressure. Don't come to me when you've got pressure. I've got my own pressures as well. And you're gonna cry and say, no, they don't want us to help us. No, it's not like that, sister or brother. Please check your financial health. Gone are those days that you're gonna find out when in stage 4 that you've got cancer. You gotta do the routine checkups. I mean, finances are more like your health. If your financial health is not in order, you don't have a life. There's nothing that you can do without money except to breathe, because you don't need anything to breathe oxygen. That's the only thing that you don't need money for. But other than that, I think on top of breathing, accountants should be the second people that you are buddies with, and pay them. Don't go there for free, pay us. It's not a free service. We can't study for 7 years for free, pay us. What?
Oh, did you mute? Okay, I think you're still on. Okay, thank you very much. That was very nice to hear, Miss Alicia. Yeah, I think this is it for today. It's been very nice speaking to you guys. Miss Ncumisa, Miss Nodaka, you have no closing remarks? Is everything fine? Okay, awesome.
No, I think my colleague covered it there. Thank you so much, Alicia.
Sorry, I just went off. It's been very enlightening speaking to you guys today. I learned so much. I'm sure our audience has also learned very much. I just wanted to let everybody know that the webinar has been recorded, so it will be available on YouTube. And I think the links to the YouTube video will be on our Facebook and our Instagram as soon as possible, yes. So if you have your friends that you'd like to share it with, or other creatives that you'd like to share the webinar with, because we've learned so much today, you can visit our Facebook page. It should be up, the link should be up before the end of the day. And yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Bye.